Hello and welcome to Upstart's Socceroos special. I'm Paul Bastin and I'm joined by Paddy Naughtin. How you going, mate?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Paul. How are you?
I'm very well. Some huge games coming up for the Socceroos. Literally do or die for our World Cup campaign. We have 3 games in the next 10 days. The first one is against Japan, over in Japan, and then we have 2 home games to close it out against Jordan and Iraq. I'll give you a quick overview of the group. So Japan is 6 points clear on top. 13 points. They have all but qualified for the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Jordan are currently second with 7 points. Australia are third with 6. Oman have 6 as well. And Iraq close out the group with 5. However, Australia and Iraq both have a game in hand. So there is currently 2 points separating second and fifth. And as I said, Australia with a game in hand, so it's very much up for grabs. We'll jump into the squad. So we'll go through each line. The goalkeepers, Mark Schwarzer, Eugene Glikovic and Mitch Langerak. What do you make of that, Paddy?
Yeah, all fantastic keepers, but obviously I think Mark Schwarzer is going to be the Holger's number one choice. Yeah, without a doubt.
Sort of goes without saying, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Defenders, we've got Robbie Cornthwaite, Lucas Neal, Michael Zulo, Ryan McGowan, Michael Thwaite, Jade North, Sasha Ogonowski and Luke Wilkshire. A couple of the notable absentees there. David Carney has been sort of a regular. He's missed out on this squad. Sporanovic as well. Even Reece Williams' form has been deemed not good enough with Middlesbrough at the moment.
Yep.
So what do you make of the defence?
Yeah, no, I'm very happy with the defence. There's a lot of experience there with Lucas Neal returning to the squad, and Luke Wilkshire is a fantastic player, one of my favourites. Yeah, very happy with the defenders.
Oh, Luke Wilkshire's career was almost made from the Socceroos, wasn't it?
Definitely.
With Gus Hiddink giving him a crack just before the 2006 World Cup. Moving into midfield, we've got Ivan Franjic, James Holland, Mile Jedinak and Mark Milligan. They can all play that holding role. Who do you think would probably get the nod there, though?
I'd say Mile Jedinak. He's had a great season captaining Crystal Palace to the Premier League. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Milligan also gets a run. He's been in great form all season for Melbourne Victory. He also scored a hat-trick against Sydney Olympic a couple of weeks ago in one of the training camps for the Socceroos. So he's in great form and Holger knows it. Oh,
and we've seen that Holger's not afraid to play those A-League players either. So yeah, he's certainly a big chance. Moving into the more attacking midfield roles, Mark Bresciano, Matthew Mackay, who's probably a flexible sort of player, can play anywhere. Dario Vidicic, Tommy Orr, Brett Holman, Tom Rogic and Robbie Cruz. It's quite young, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very young, which I think is great. Holger has been criticised for not picking too many youngsters, but those midfielders are a great bunch of young kids for Australia.
Yeah, and they can take a man on. I think that's probably what we've been lacking a little bit with without the likes of Harry Kewell, that bit of creativity on the ball, and that's what those blokes certainly provide.
Definitely.
Up front, Archie Thompson, Alex Broch, Tim Cahill, and Josh Kennedy. I suppose it depends on the tactics, who we go with there, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Holger, he could pick Josh Kennedy up front with, Tim Cahill in behind and, just play long balls and stuff. But, or, he could do the opposite and not pick Kennedy and play, Cahill and Brosk and, I don't know, so many different combinations. We'll really just have to wait and see, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on to the first game, it's against Japan over in Tokyo. Huge game. The Blue Samurai are a dominant force in world football right now, and it's going to be a huge test for the Socceroos. Just a couple of the notable names for Japan. Shinji Kagawa, of course, Manchester United midfielder, won the Premier League title. Kazuki Honda has been a great midfielder for a long time. No Shinji Ono,
No.
The Western Sydney Wanderers inspirational leader. Unfortunately missed out. But yeah, the last time these two teams met, it was a 1-1 draw. It was a game full of mayhem. Mark Milligan came on as a sub for Mark Bresciano, who was injured early, I think it was the 12th minute. And then Mark Milligan proceeded to get sent off.
Yep.
I think it was around about half-time, and Japan took the lead and looked as though they had the 3 points wrapped up. But to Australia's credit, typical underdog fighting sort of game. We managed to equalise, and in fact, we probably almost deserved to claim a winner. Sasha Ogonowski hitting the bar, which would have been very much an unlikely hero.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what happens here. In terms of formation, I mean, we mentioned it earlier. What do you think Holger will do? Are we going to try and get them aerially, or?
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens. We have some very tall players, or players like Tim Cahill who can jump, and just head the ball into the back of the net. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way we go.
Yeah, and in that case, we'd need obviously some players that can provide some quality crosses. So you're going to be looking at Robbie Cruz and
Tommy Orr, down the sides, yeah. Get them on. They're so quick. They'll just get past the Japanese players, hopefully, and whip the ball in. Kennedy to bang it in. What
did you make of? I think it was Josh Kennedy, and I think it was also Sasha Ovganovsky that alluded to the fact that Australia has a bit of a mental edge over Japan. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, obviously we beat them in the World Cup 2006, but they beat us in the Asian Cup final. So I think it could go either way. I don't know whether we actually do have the mental edge over them.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that you're not surprised the player comes out before a game trying to get him to the head of the opposition camp. But personally, I don't think that's probably an accurate statement. I mean, as you said, we beat them. It was 7 years ago, the World Cup now, and we did beat them in the last World Cup qualifying campaign, but as you said, the Asian Cup, they got the better of us. At the end of the day, it's been a pretty even battle, I would say.
Yeah.
So I don't think really either team has a mental edge there. Prediction: what do you think will happen?
I'm gonna back Australia. It's gonna be hard, no question about that. But I reckon Australia will get away with a cheeky 1-0 victory.
I absolutely hope so, but I'm going to have to go with my brain and say that I think it'll probably be a draw. Japan over there are just so difficult to beat, and if we do manage to get a point, I think that's actually quite a great step towards qualifying.
Yeah.
So the last two games, as we said, they'll be on home soil. They're against Jordan and Iraq, sort of the lesser lights in world football, but they've been difficult to beat. Jordan actually got the better of us the last time we played, and Iraq were 1-0 up with about 10 minutes remaining, and we managed to pinch the 3 points with 2 late goals from Tim Cahill and Archie Thompson. Do you think we'll go with the same sort of mantra that we'll have against Japan? Do you reckon it'll be the same sort of formation?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think Holger, he's picked a squad for all 3 games, not just for the one individual Japanese game. I wouldn't be surprised if we see quite similar lineups, although I think the way we play might be different. For example, I think in the Jordan and Iraq games, we'll have to be more. We might be playing higher up in the field, but if we do that, we'll have to be careful of the counterattacks, because those teams are very good at counterattacks, and that's how we have come, undone to them before. Yeah,
I think that's really where they thrive, isn't it? That, sort of just sitting back, sort of almost parking the bus in a sense, and then breaking with
Rushing
speed.
Forward,
and that's where it's a little bit of a worry with Lucas Neal and Sasha Ovganovsky. Very experienced, and they know how to cut off the angles, but it just whether at age 34 and 35 respectively, whether they can track back with the young sort of whippersnippers from these countries.
Fingers crossed they can.
Yeah, absolutely. And a prediction for those games? Are we going to win? Surely we'll win.
Yeah, look, I really hope we do. And I think we will as well. I can see us winning by a couple of goals against Jordan and Iraq. Iraq will be more difficult, I think, but we'll get away 2-0.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think, with everything on the line, we've got a pretty strong squad, and I think we should have too much class for Jordan and Iraq. And, with results going our way, that should guarantee us a place in the World Cup.
Yeah. Yep.
Paddy, thank you for joining us, mate.
No worries. Thank you, Paul.
Go the Socceroos.